You feel it, don't you? A constant pulling. The day starts and immediately the world rushes in. The news, the notifications, the demands of others, the unexpected problems. It feels like you are caught in a current, swept along by a river you did not choose. Each day becomes a reaction to the last. You are busy, always moving, but you are not in the driver's seat. It's a subtle but heavy feeling, the sense that your life is not entirely your own, that you are a passenger in the journey of your own existence. Think about the anger that flashes when someone cuts you off in traffic, the anxiety that tightens your chest when you look at your to-do list, the sting of a critical comment. These moments feel like they are happening to you, like external events have a direct wire to your emotions. You are a puppet, and the world holds the strings. This feeling of being controlled is exhausting. It drains your energy and leaves you feeling powerless. You long for a sense of stability, a solid ground to stand on when the winds of chaos blow. You want to be the one who decides how you feel, who chooses your own direction, who can navigate the storms of life without being torn apart by them. But the world just keeps getting louder, faster, and more demanding. The feeling of being adrift only grows stronger with each passing day. We see this struggle reflected everywhere. We see people desperately trying to find an anchor in a world that feels anchorless. We build our lives on shifting sands, a promotion, a relationship, the approval of others, hoping that this external thing will finally grant us the inner peace we crave. We believe that if we can just arrange the world outside of us perfectly, then we will finally feel calm and in control on the inside. But this is a fragile and dangerous hope. There is a forgotten ruin on a hill inside of you. It is your inner world, your core. For most of us, it lies neglected. We are too busy living outside, exposed to the elements to notice it. We feel the full force of every storm, the biting cold of every winter, the scorching heat of every crisis, because we are living without shelter. We have forgotten that we have a place of refuge, a fortress of the mind that can be made strong and impenetrable. The feeling of being controlled is not your fault. It is the default state of a life lived unconsciously. It is the path of least resistance. It is easier to be tossed about by the waves than it is to learn how to swim. It is easier to react to the world than it is to build a place of inner strength. We have been taught to focus on the external, on success, on appearances, on what we can get. We have not been taught how to cultivate the internal. We mistake motion for progress. We mistake being busy for being in control. We run faster and faster on a treadmill, trying to outrun the feeling of unease, but the scenery never changes. We are still in the same room, still at the mercy of the machine's speed. We believe that if we can just get everything on our to-do list done, then we will find peace. But the list never ends. The world will always provide more tasks, more demands, more reasons to feel overwhelmed. And so we are left with a fundamental question, a question that has haunted humanity for thousands of years. In a world that we cannot control, a world filled with chaos, uncertainty, and the actions of billions of other people, how can we possibly find freedom? How can we feel a sense of power and peace when everything around us seems designed to take it away? How do we stop being the effect and become the cause? What if the strings that control you are not held by the world, but by your own mind? What if the prison is not outside of you, but within your own perception? The feeling of being a puppet is real, but perhaps we have misunderstood who the puppet master is. The source of our turmoil is not the event itself, but our judgment about the event. It is the story we tell ourselves about what is happening that gives it its power over us. This is the critical turning point in understanding true power. It is the realization that the battle for freedom is not fought on the fields of the external world. It is not about winning the argument, getting the promotion, or forcing others to change. The battle is fought within the quiet, internal landscape of your own consciousness. This is the territory you have been given to command. This is the one and only thing you can truly control. So how do we typically try to solve this? We declare war on the weather. We see the storm of chaos on the horizon and we believe our task is to stop it. We try to control other people's opinions of us, desperately trying to build a shield of approval. We try to manage every single outcome, planning for every contingency, believing that if we can just think hard enough, we can bend reality to our will. This is the most common trap of all. Think of how much energy is spent trying to change things that are fundamentally outside of your control. You worry about what might happen tomorrow. You replay past conversations, wishing you had said something different. You get frustrated when things don't go according to your perfect plan. You are essentially standing on the shore, shouting at the tide, commanding it not to come in. The tide does not listen. It never has, and it never will. This attempt to control the uncontrollable is the very definition of suffering. It is a recipe for constant disappointment, anxiety, and frustration. We are playing a game with rules that guarantee we will lose. The world will always be unpredictable. People will always be who they are. Accidents will always happen. To base your inner peace on your ability to control these things is to build your house on an active volcano. It is not a matter of if it will erupt, but when. This endless chase for external control and distraction leaves our inner world in ruins. While we are busy trying to command the clouds, that forgotten citadel on the hill crumbles further. Its walls weaken, its foundations crack. We become more and more vulnerable to the external world because we have completely neglected our internal defenses. The slightest breeze can feel like a hurricane when you have no walls to protect you. Consider the desire for constant validation. We post a picture and anxiously check for likes. We share an idea and hope for unanimous agreement. We change who we are to fit in with a group. In these moments, we are handing the keys to our happiness over to others. We are saying, "You decide if I am worthy. You decide if I am good enough." This is the ultimate form of being controlled, and it is a prison we build for ourselves, brick by painful brick. Why does this approach always fail? Because it is based on a misunderstanding of power. True power is not the ability to force the world to conform to your wishes. That is the definition of tyranny, and it is a fragile, exhausting state. The world is infinitely more powerful than you are. It will always win a head-to-head fight. The attempt to control the external is like trying to capture the wind in a net. You will only end up tired and empty-handed. This constant struggle creates a cycle of anxiety. You worry about an event, you try to control it, you fail. You feel anxious about your failure. This anxiety then fuels more desperate attempts to control the next event. You become trapped in a feedback loop of your own making. You are not just being controlled by the world, you are being controlled by your very attempt to control it. The supposed cure is actually the disease. We see this in our relationships. We try to change our partners, our friends, or our family, believing we know what is best for them. This desire, even when well-intentioned, is a form of control. It leads to conflict, resentment, and pain. It denies the other person their own autonomy, their own journey. We are trying to make their weather suit our preferences, forgetting that they have their own internal climate to manage. We do it with our own lives, trying to follow a perfect, pre-written script. We think our life should look a certain way by a certain age. When reality deviates from this script, as it always does, we feel like a failure. We are being controlled by a fantasy, a ghost of a life that never was. This rigid attachment to a single outcome is a cage that prevents us from seeing the beauty of the path we are actually on. So the common solution to fight, control, or numb the external world is a dead end. It is a promise of freedom that leads only to a deeper form of servitude. It is an exhausting, unwinnable war fought on the wrong battlefield. It keeps us focused outward on the storm while our true source of strength, the inner citadel, is left to decay. We are looking for the key to our chains everywhere except for the one place it has always been, within our own hands. This flawed approach makes us fragile. Because our sense of well-being depends on external conditions being perfect, any small disruption can shatter our peace. A delayed flight, an unexpected bill, a critical word. These things become personal catastrophes. We have no shock absorbers. We feel every bump in the road because we have built our entire identity on the smooth pavement of our expectations. This is not strength, it is profound weakness. We also become blind to opportunity. When you are obsessed with forcing a particular outcome, you cannot see the other doors that are opening around you. A job loss feels only like a disaster, not a chance to reevaluate. A relationship ending feels only like a failure, not a lesson in what you truly need. By trying to control one path, you blind yourself to the entire landscape of possibility that life is constantly offering you. Ultimately, this path is one of loneliness. By seeing the world as a force to be subdued, we place ourselves in opposition to it. We are the lone soldier fighting against everything. This creates a sense of separation and alienation. We feel that we are against the world and the world is against us. This is a lonely and stressful way to live, cutting us off from the feeling of connection and belonging that is essential to our well-being. So we arrive at a moment of crisis. Exhausted from fighting the weather, disappointed by our failed attempts at control, and feeling more powerless than ever, we might finally be ready to stop, to surrender, not in defeat but in wisdom. It is in this moment of collapse when we finally admit that our strategy isn't working, that a new path can finally reveal itself. It is the moment we stop looking out at the storm and finally turn our gaze inward. It is here, in this quiet moment of surrender, that the wisdom of the ages offers a hand. A voice echoes across 2,000 years, from a man who was the most powerful emperor in the world, yet spent his life reminding himself of his own powerlessness over the external. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, understood this struggle intimately. He ruled an empire but knew he could not rule the fates. His wisdom was not about gaining more power over the world, but about cultivating a different kind of power altogether. He realized that while he couldn't control events, he had absolute sovereignty over his response to those events. He could not control the storm, but he could control the strength of his shelter. This is the great pivot, the turning point from a life of reaction to a life of intention. This leads us to the central thesis, the key that unlocks the cage. True freedom is not found by controlling the world around you, but by mastering the one thing you truly possess, the inner world of your perception. Your power lies not in changing the event, but in choosing the meaning you assign to it. The event is just weather. Your judgment about it is the home you live in. This is the beginning of the great work. It is the decision to stop trying to landscape the entire world and instead to begin cultivating your own garden. It is the realization that you have had a fortress all along, but you have left it in ruins. The work is not to fight the storm anymore. The work is to turn your back to the wind, walk up that hill, and begin to rebuild your inner citadel, stone by stone. Imagine the immense relief in this shift. You are dropping a burden you were never meant to carry. The weight of the world is not yours to hold. You are laying down the impossible task of controlling everything and picking up the possible, noble task of controlling yourself. The goal is no longer to achieve a perfect, storm-free life, but to become the person who can be at peace, no matter what the weather is doing. This inner citadel is your mind, your reasoning, your principles. It is the part of you that observes the world and decides what it means. It is your faculty of judgment. When it is weak and crumbling, every external event can breach your walls and cause chaos within. When it is strong and well-maintained, you can watch the greatest storms rage outside from a place of safety and calm. The decision to rebuild is the most empowering decision you can ever make. It is the declaration of your own sovereignty. It is saying, I will no longer be a slave to circumstance. I will no longer let my peace be a gift given and taken away by the world. I will build it myself. It will be mine, and no one and no thing can ever take it from me. This is the beginning of true, unshakable freedom. This isn't about ignoring the world or hiding from it. It's the opposite. It's about engaging with the world more fully, but from a position of strength, not weakness. A strong citadel allows you to venture out into the world to help, to build, to love, knowing you have a safe place to return to. You can face challenges with courage because you know that no matter the outcome, your core self will remain unharmed. Marcus Aurelius wrote his Meditations as a personal guide for this very process. It was a series of reminders to himself to fortify his inner citadel every single day. He was reminding himself not to be swept away by the politics of the court, the betrayals of friends, or the hardships of war. He was training himself to distinguish between what was happening and his story about what was happening. This path requires a fundamental reevaluation of what you value. Is your goal to be comfortable, or is it to be strong? Is your goal to be liked, or is it to be free? The path of the Citadel demands that you choose strength and freedom. It requires you to find your validation from within, from your adherence to your own principles, not from the applause or approval of the crowd outside your walls. So the journey begins. It is not a quick fix or a sudden enlightenment. It is a practice, a daily process of laying one stone upon another. Each time you choose your response instead of reacting blindly, you add a stone. Each time you focus on what you can control, you add a stone. Each time you accept what you cannot change, you add a stone. You are the architect and the builder of your own peace. The external world doesn't change. The storms will still come. The winds of fortune will still blow hot and cold. The demands of others will not cease. The fundamental chaos of existence remains. What changes is you. What changes is your relationship to it all. You are no longer a leaf in the wind. You are the mountain that watches the wind blow. You are the rock that the waves crash against. This shift in perspective is the ultimate power. It's realizing that the universe doesn't happen to you, it just happens. Rain doesn't fall to ruin your picnic, it just rains. The traffic jam isn't a personal attack, it's just a collection of cars. When you remove the personal story, you remove the suffering. You see events for what they are, neutral. It is your perception alone that colors them good or bad. The journey to build this inner fortress is not easy. It requires awareness, discipline, and courage. It means facing your own reactive habits and choosing a different path. It means taking responsibility for your inner world completely. But it is the only journey that leads to genuine, lasting freedom. It is the only way to ensure that you are the master of your own soul. As you begin to build, something remarkable happens. The noise of the world begins to fade. The chaos outside loses its power to disturb you. You are creating a space of inner quiet, a sanctuary within yourself. The frantic need to control everything out there is replaced by a calm focus on cultivating everything in here. This is the turning point where you stop being controlled and start taking command. The first and most crucial stone you must lay is the foundation of your citadel. This is the wisdom of knowing what is within your control and what is not. Marcus Aurelius would call this the dichotomy of control. Your thoughts, your judgments, your choices, your actions, these are yours. Everything else, the weather, the economy, other people's opinions, your health, is not entirely yours. Building your peace on what is yours is building on solid rock. Once the foundation is set, you must build the walls. These walls are your resilience, your ability to endure hardship without breaking. You build them by practicing voluntary discomfort. By choosing to do hard things, you prove to yourself that you can handle difficulty. You fast, you take a cold shower, you exercise when you don't feel like it. You are telling your mind, we have faced worse than this by choice, so this unexpected hardship is nothing to fear. Every citadel needs a strong gate. This gate is the guardian of your mind. It is your power to choose your response. An event happens, that is the visitor knocking at your gate. You do not have to let it in. You can observe it, examine it, and decide if it is worthy of entering your inner world. You can ask, is this thing that is happening within my control? If the answer is no, you can choose not to be disturbed by it. Think of a criticism someone gives you. The old you would let that criticism storm the gates, run rampant through your city, and set fire to your self-worth. The new you, the builder of the citadel, stops it at the gate. You look at it. Is there truth in it? If so, it is helpful information. You can use it to improve. If it is false, it is just noise. It is someone else's weather. In either case, it does not have the power to destroy your peace. To strengthen your citadel, you must also build a watchtower. This is the practice of perspective, or what the Stoics called the view from above. When you are troubled by a small, everyday problem, you climb your watchtower. From there, you see your house, your city, your country, the entire earth as a small ball in the vastness of space. You see all of history stretching out behind you. From this height, your problem shrinks to its true, insignificant size. A person cuts you off in traffic. From the ground, it feels like a personal attack. From the watchtower, you see a tiny car, driven by a person with their own worries, fears, and hurried life, on a tiny road in a massive city. You see them not as a villain, but as another struggling human. The anger dissolves into something closer to understanding or even indifference. Perspective robs events of their emotional charge. Inside your citadel, you must cultivate a garden. This represents your own principles and values. This is what you tend to every day. It's not enough to keep the bad stuff out, you must grow good stuff within. What do you stand for? Honesty, courage, justice, kindness. Each time you act in accordance with your values, you are watering your garden. Your inner world becomes a beautiful, flourishing place, a source of joy regardless of the external weather. This inner garden is your source of self-worth. Your value comes not from external praise, but from the state of your garden. Did you act with integrity today? Did you face a challenge with courage? Did you treat others with fairness? If the answer is yes, then you have had a successful day, even if you failed by the world's standards. You are living by your own scorecard, and it is the only one that matters. Another key practice in building your citadel is to prepare for the storm in times of calm. This is the practice of negative visualization. When things are going well, you take a moment to imagine losing the things you value: your job, your possessions, your loved ones. This is not to create anxiety, but to do the opposite. It cultivates gratitude for what you have right now, and it rehearses your response for when misfortune inevitably strikes, making you less fragile and more resilient. By imagining life without your blessings, you learn to cherish them more deeply in the present. You stop taking them for granted. The simple fact that a loved one is healthy today becomes a source of immense joy. This practice strips away the hedonic adaptation that makes us numb to our own good fortune. It also serves as a fire drill for the soul. When the real fire comes, you will have already practiced your escape route. A crucial part of the Citadel's defense system is understanding the nature of desire. The Stoics taught that much of our suffering comes from desiring things outside of our control. You desire for someone to love you back. You desire to be famous. You desire to be rich. These desires make you a slave to the things you crave. The key is to shift your desire from outcomes to actions. Desire to be a loving person, not to be loved back. Desire to act with excellence, not to achieve fame. Desire to manage your money wisely, not to become a millionaire. When your desire is focused on your own actions, which are within your control, you can never be disappointed. You can always act with virtue. You can always do your best. You have brought your happiness back within the walls of your own citadel. You have made it independent of external validation. The final piece of the citadel's architecture is acceptance. The Stoics called it amor fati, a love of fate. This is the most advanced and powerful practice. It is the ability to not just tolerate what happens, but to welcome it. To see everything that happens, good or bad, as a necessary and even beautiful part of the grand tapestry of existence. It is the deep understanding that every obstacle is an opportunity to practice virtue. The obstacle in the path becomes the path. Your flight is canceled, an opportunity to practice patience. You face an unfair criticism, an opportunity to practice forgiveness. You get sick, an opportunity to practice resilience. The universe is constantly providing you with a curriculum to strengthen your soul. Nothing is a problem anymore. Everything is training. This mindset transforms every moment of your life into a chance for growth. This is how you fortify your inner world. You lay the foundation of control. You build the walls of resilience. You guard the gate of your perception. You gain perspective from the watchtower. You cultivate the garden of your principles. You practice for disaster. You master your desires. And finally, you learn to love whatever happens. Each of these is a stone, and with them, you build an impenetrable fortress. This internal work is a continuous process. The citadel is never truly finished. It requires daily maintenance. Each morning, you must check the walls, tend the garden, and stand on the watchtower. Marcus Aurelius did this every day, even as the most powerful man in the world. He knew that inner strength, unlike external power, is a practice, not a possession. It must be renewed daily. When your inner world is in order, your outer world changes. Not because the world itself has changed, but because your filter has. You are no longer tossed about by every wave. You have an anchor. You can participate in the world with a sense of calm and purpose, knowing that your core self is safe and secure within the walls you have so carefully built. You become a force of stability in a world of chaos. Remember, the goal is not to feel nothing. The Stoics were not emotionless robots. The goal is to not be controlled by your emotions. You can feel sadness but not be consumed by despair. You can feel anger but not act on it with rage. You are the master of the house, not the unruly guest. The emotions are allowed to visit, but they are not allowed to redecorate. This inner work makes you a better person for others. When you are not constantly reacting to slights and fears, you have more energy to be present, to listen, to help. You are no longer a drain on the people around you, demanding they walk on eggshells to protect your fragile peace. Instead, you become a source of strength for them. Your citadel becomes a place of refuge not just for you, but for those you care about. The core of this practice is a simple pause. Between the event and your reaction, there is a space. In that space lies your power to choose your response. The work of building the citadel is the work of expanding that space. At first, it may be a fraction of a second, but with practice, it can become a wide, quiet field where you can calmly assess the situation and choose the wisest path forward. Each day presents countless opportunities to practice. The long line at the store is a gym for your patience. A rude email is a sparring partner for your composure. A broken appliance is a chance to practice acceptance of what you cannot change. See these not as annoyances, but as training simulations provided by the universe for the strengthening of your character. Every moment is a chance to lay another stone in your wall. You will fail, you will forget, you will react. There will be days when your walls seem to crumble, when a storm breaches your defenses and you are tossed about again. This is part of the process. The goal is not perfection. The goal is to get back up, forgive yourself, and lay the next stone. Acknowledge the failure, learn from it, and return to the work. The path is the practice itself. Over time, this practice becomes second nature. Your default response begins to shift from unconscious reaction to conscious choice. The peace you find within your citadel becomes more stable, less dependent on constant, effortful thought. You are rewiring your brain, building new neural pathways. You are transforming your very being from the inside out. You are becoming the architect of your own soul. The freedom this provides is profound. It is not the freedom of having no problems, but the freedom of not being a problem to yourself. It is the freedom that comes from knowing that whatever happens, you can handle it. You are no longer afraid of the weather. You have built your house of stone, and you have the tools and the skills to repair it if it ever gets damaged. This inner citadel is not a place of cold, lonely isolation. It is a place of warmth, self-reliance, and profound connection to your own deepest values. It is a place of quiet strength from which you can engage with the world more lovingly and effectively. It is the solid ground upon which a meaningful and impactful life can be built. You control your perceptions, and in doing so, you control your experience. Let go of the need for things to be easy. Let go of the need for the world to be fair. Let go of the need for people to be predictable. These are chains that keep you tethered to disappointment. Instead, embrace the challenge. See the world as it is, not as you wish it would be. Your power does not lie in changing the world, but in your ability to meet the world as it is with courage and grace. The Stoics used the analogy of a dog tied to a cart. The dog can either struggle against the rope, choking and being dragged along painfully, or it can recognize the direction the cart is going and choose to run alongside it. The destination is the same, but the quality of the journey is entirely different. The cart is fate, the things you cannot change. Your choice is to struggle or to cooperate with reality. When you stop fighting reality, you free up an immense amount of energy. All the power you were using to worry, to resist, to complain, and to try to control the uncontrollable is now available for you to use. You can channel this energy into what you can control: your actions, your character, your contributions to the world. You become more effective, more creative, and more at peace. This is the ultimate form of self-respect. It is honoring yourself enough to take responsibility for your own inner state. It is refusing to give away your power to trivial things or difficult people. Your peace of mind is your most valuable possession. The citadel is the vault you build to protect it. It is your declaration that your inner tranquility is not for sale and it cannot be taken. Every day you are faced with a choice. Will you live outside, exposed to the elements, controlled by every gust of wind and drop of rain? Or will you do the work of building and maintaining your inner fortress? Will you be a victim of circumstance or the master of your perception? The choice is yours in every single moment. The world will continue to test you. That is its nature. It will send storms of misfortune, winds of gossip, and floods of unexpected change. See these not as punishment, but as opportunities. Each test is a chance to see how strong your walls are. Each challenge is a chance to prove to yourself that your foundation is solid. The tests never stop, and that is a good thing, for it means you always have the chance to grow stronger. Do not confuse this inner work with passivity. It is the source of right action. Because you are not clouded by fear or anger, you can see situations with clarity. You can act deliberately and effectively to make things better. A doctor with a calm mind is more effective in a crisis than one who panics. Your inner peace makes you more, not less, capable of handling the world's problems. The peace you build is not a fragile thing. It is not the absence of noise, but the ability to be calm in the midst of it. It is a deep, resonant silence in the core of your being that is untouched by the chaos outside. This is the peace that surpasses all understanding, because it does not depend on anything external. It is generated from within. It is a function of your own trained mind. This is the great promise of Stoic philosophy, brought to life by men like Marcus Aurelius. It is not a philosophy of dusty books and ancient theories. It is a live, practical, daily system for human flourishing. It is an operating system for the mind, designed to produce tranquility, resilience, and freedom in the face of a difficult and unpredictable world. You have the blueprint, you have the tools, you have the building materials. They are all within you. The choice is whether to begin the work, to stop cursing the rain and start building your roof, to stop being controlled by the world and to start, finally, taking control of the only thing you were ever meant to control, your own mind. And so the work is done. The citadel stands complete. It is not a fantasy, but a reality built from countless choices. It is a testament to discipline, resilience, and wisdom. The walls are strong, the garden is flourishing, the watchtower offers a view of eternity. It is a masterpiece of inner engineering, a fortress of solitude and strength in the heart of your being. Now the greatest storm of all arrives. The sky turns black, the winds howl with unimaginable fury, and the waves of chaos crash higher than ever before. This is the ultimate test. The world throws its very worst at you. In the past, this would have meant annihilation. It would have been the end of you. But now, something is different. You stand on the highest battlement of your citadel. You do not flinch. You do not hide. You watch the storm, and you are not afraid. You see the lightning not as a threat, but as a beautiful, terrifying spectacle. You feel the wind, but are not moved by it. You have so thoroughly separated the event from your judgment about it that you can observe it with a serene, detached curiosity. This is the moment of true freedom. The moment you realize that nothing outside of you can ever truly harm you. It can harm your body, your reputation, your finances, but it cannot harm your character. It cannot touch your ability to choose your response. It cannot breach the walls of your inner citadel. The puppet strings have been cut once and for all. You are no longer controlled. You look out at the storm and you can finally say with absolute conviction, "Let what is outside my control be as it will. I will control what is within my control." You are no longer begging the world for peace. You are generating it. You are no longer a victim of your life. You are a student of it and a master of your experience of it. The central thesis is now not just an idea, but a lived reality. True freedom was never about controlling the world. It was always about mastering the inner world of your perception. You have achieved it. You have taken the one thing the universe gave you, your mind, and you have made it into an impenetrable fortress and a beautiful garden. The storm begins to pass not because you defeated it, but simply because storms do. The sun emerges. The world outside is changed, perhaps scarred by the weather. But you are not only unharmed, you are stronger. The storm was a final exam and you passed it with flying colors. Your strength is not theoretical anymore. It has been tested and proven. You realize the citadel and the weather were never truly enemies. They are two parts of a whole. The weather provides the challenges that make the citadel necessary and strong. The citadel provides the safety that allows you to appreciate the wild beauty of the weather. They need each other. The chaos of the world is what gives you the opportunity to create the order of your soul. This is the power Marcus Aurelius was writing about in his tent on the battlefield. Not the power to command legions, but the power to command himself. This is the power that is available to every single one of us, right now, in this very moment. It is the power to choose how we experience our lives. It is the only power that truly matters. You are not what happens to you. You are what you choose to become in response to what happens to you. This is the secret to unlocking a life of purpose, resilience, and profound peace. This is how you stop being controlled and start living a life of true, unshakable freedom. You are the keeper of your own mind. You are the master of your own citadel. Now the metaphor dissolves. The citadel was just a guide. The real fortress is you. You no longer need to visualize it because you have become it. The strength is not in a place, but in a way of being. You carry your fortress with you wherever you go. Your peace is portable. It is part of your very nature now. You walk out into the world. It is the same world. There are still difficult people, unexpected problems, and sources of potential stress. But you no longer meet them with a fragile, exposed self. You meet them from your center of strength. You see them not as threats, but simply as information, as phenomena to be navigated with wisdom and grace. You have learned to separate your well-being from your well-faring. Your well-being is the state of your character, your inner world. That is always under your control. Your well-faring is the state of your external life. That is not. By focusing only on your well-being, you find that you can handle any state of well-faring with equanimity. This does not mean you will not feel pain or sadness. You will. You are human. But you will not add a second layer of suffering. You will not suffer from your suffering. You will feel the pain of a loss, but you will not add the story that my life is ruined. You will feel the sting of failure, but you will not add the story that I am a failure. This is the critical difference. So we leave you not with a list of things to do, but with a single, transformative question to carry with you. A question to ask yourself in moments of anger, anxiety, or despair. A question to bring you back to the gate of your citadel. It is the question that contains the entire philosophy within it. The question is this within my control? That is all. In every situation, ask that question. If the answer is no, then your work is to practice acceptance. If the answer is yes, then your work is to act with virtue and courage. This one question is the key to the citadel. It is the compass that will always point you back to your own power. Use this question to dismantle your anxieties. Will it rain on my wedding day? Not in your control. Practice acceptance. How will I react if it rains? That is in your control. Practice resilience. What will they think of my presentation? Not in your control. Will I give the best presentation I am capable of? Yes, that is your only concern. Your life is a sequence of moments. Each moment offers the choice to be controlled or to be in control, to be a slave to the external or to be the master of the internal. This is not a grand, one-time decision. It is a small, quiet choice made over and over again in the unseen moments of your daily life. It is in these small choices that your freedom is truly forged. The world will always provide the weather. It is not your job to stop the rain. It is your job to build a shelter so strong that you can learn to sing in it, to cultivate an inner peace so profound that you can find stillness even in the heart of a hurricane. This is your birthright. This is your power. This is your freedom. You do not need to rule the world. You do not need to conquer empires. You only need to conquer yourself. You only need to gain command of the inner citadel of your mind. Control this small kingdom of your own perception, and you will never be controlled again. You will be free forever. The journey from being a puppet to being a sovereign begins with a single conscious breath. It begins with the decision to stop blaming the world and start taking responsibility for your inner peace. It is the most challenging and the most rewarding journey a human being can take. It is the path from a life of frantic reaction to a life of quiet, purposeful action. The storm may rage, but the core of you remains untouchable. Let this be the day you find the ruins of your own inner citadel. Let this be the day you decide to lay the first stone. You have everything you need. The wisdom is ancient, but the application is immediate. Your freedom is not in some distant future. It is in your very next choice. Choose to turn your gaze inward and begin the great work of building your unshakable self. Remember the feeling of being pulled by 1,000 strings. Now, feel the quiet power of having cut them. The world will still pull, but it will no longer be attached to anything. You can observe its pulls and pushes with a calm smile, knowing that you are anchored in something far deeper and more stable, your own well-tended soul. This is the peace that comes from true self-possession. The wisdom of Marcus Aurelius is not just to be admired, it is to be lived. It is a call to action, a call to build, a call to transform your perception, and in doing so, transform your entire experience of life. Your mind can be a chaotic prison, or it can be an impenetrable fortress. You are the only one with the key. You are the architect. You are the king or queen of that inner space. So control this one thing, your perception, your judgment, your inner world, or be controlled forever by everything else. The choice is yours in this moment and in every moment that follows. This is the path to freedom. To begin your own journey of building this inner strength, explore the ideas that resonate most deeply with you.